ZONA-MV allows you to mirror zone data or duplicate zone data. In order to achieve this, we're going to show you on a simple example, which is a 2-brick model first, so that it's easier to understand this process. So this is a TechPlot file. It contains 2 single bricks as shown here in 2 separate zones. So the first zone shown in red, the second zone shown in green, which we can see by clicking on the zone settings button. And we see then this is the first zone and the second brick in the second zone. So if we want to mirror a zone, we can go to the alter dialog, and on the right hand side here we see where we can mirror zone data, and it shows the current zone. So since we only have 2 in our model, it shows both of them here. Now we need to select which zone we want to mirror or duplicate. You can select more than one by holding the Shift key or the Control key, and the Shift allows you to select through. So if you had 10 of them, you could hold the Shift and click down, or Control allows you to select individual ones. So you can select more than one to perform the mirror zone data process on, or you can just select one. So let's say as a test we want to mirror this red brick zone across the XZ plane, which would put it over on this side here. So if we select brick 1, XZ plane, we're not going to create a new zone, which means that it's physically going to move the existing zone. And for now we're just going to skip reversing the element normals so we can explain to you what that means. So if we say apply, and if we close this and go back to rotate, now we can see the 2 zones, and what it did was it shifted this zone across the XZ plane. Now if we look at the panel normals, we can use the display vectors option, click on vectors on off, and then click recompute vector dataset because we've changed the internal data. And now when we do that, we see that the first box has the vector normals pointing out from each panel, but the second box, because we've mirrored it about the XZ plane, has all of the normals pointed in. So we have an option when we alter the data that we can tell it to reverse the normals, and that way we can keep all the panel normals pointing out. Now if you're just manipulating a general model, it probably doesn't matter, but if the model happens to be, for example, a computational model like Zonair, you need to ensure that any changes to the model maintain that the panel normals always point outward. So that's why this feature exists. So if we come back to the Alter tab, and what we can do is go ahead and mirror the brick. Well, for example, let's mirror this brick across the XZ plane, but this time we'll say reverse element normals, and this time we'll also say create new zone. So if we do that for the second brick, we click apply, close. Now what we see is that rather than just moving the original zone, it mirrored this particular green box zone across the XZ plane and created a new zone. So we have a third zone. And if we want to see the panel normals, we can go and recompute, and we see that since we said reverse the normals, this time they do point out as we mirrored it across the XZ plane. So in this fashion you can mirror zones and control the panel normals. Now as another option, we can show you on a more complex model, which happens to be the Gulfstream Plot 3D model. So we can create a new ZONA-MV tab, a document, go to the Home tab, import Plot 3D file, and we can go select that particular file. And then we can click OK to load the Plot 3D file and display the model. Now this particular model, we'll rotate it, look at it from this side, and let's say for example that we want to create a duplicate zone of the engine on this side of the XZ plane, as well as the pylon connecting the engine to the fuselage, and this little internal region on the CFD model, the green, to close the gap between the engine and the pylon. So we can go to the zone settings window, and then we can identify which of these zones are the ones that we need to modify. So if we look here, zone 21 is the engine, zone 20 is this little green piece connecting the engine to the pylon, and zone 28 is the pylon. So then we can go to Tools, Alter, and now we see that there's all of the zones displayed here, and we're going to select 20, hold the control key, 21, let go of the control key, go down to 28, hold the control key, and select 28. So now we've selected these three. And we choose to mirror about the XZ plane. We're going to choose to create a new zone, and we're going to choose to reverse the element normals. So then we click Apply, and then we see that we created 3 new zones here to mirror the original zones on the right hand side of the vehicle. And these zones then are added in at the bottom of the zone list, which we can see if we scroll down to the bottom of the zone settings, and it will tell us that these are mirror zones of the original zone numbers shown there. So in this fashion, you can use the Alter Data tab to mirror or duplicate existing zones.